My daughter signed away her baby, so we raised him as our own. 20 years later, she showed up to extort us for money. I was making breakfast when the doorbell rang. Through the window, I saw Tessa. 23 years since she walked out of that hospital room. She looked older than 42, worn thin by whatever life she'd chosen over us. "Mom," she said when I opened the door. Not a question, a statement. I didn't move aside. "What do you want? Can I come in?" Behind her, a black sedan idled at the curb, tinted windows. I couldn't see the driver. I let her in because Hayden was upstairs getting ready for work, because part of me needed him to see her, to understand why I'd told him his mother died in childbirth. She walked through our living room like a stranger touring a museum, touched nothing. Her eyes landed on the photos covering the mantel. Hayden at graduation, Hayden's wedding, Hayden holding his newborn daughter. "He's done well," she said. "No thanks to you." She turned to face me. "I need $500,000. I actually laughed. "You're insane. I have stage 4 lung cancer," she said flatly. 6 months if I'm lucky. There's a clinical trial in Germany. My insurance won't cover it. "So you remembered you had a son?" I remembered I signed paperwork 20 years ago. Closed adoption, they said. Sealed records. Her voice stayed level. "Except I kept copies. Birth certificate before you changed it. The documents where I waived my rights. Photos from the hospital." My blood went cold. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying Hayden doesn't know I exist. I'm saying I could contact him directly. Show him everything. Tell him his whole life is a lie. Or," she paused, "you could help me live long enough to see if this treatment works." That's extortion. That's survival. She reached into her purse. I flinched, but she just pulled out a folder. Hospital records, treatment plans, financial statements, all legitimate. "I don't want to hurt him. I just want to live." Footsteps on the stairs. Hayden appeared, adjusting his tie. He froze when he saw Tessa. "Mom, who's this?" I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. Tessa smiled. Not warm, not cruel, just tired. "I'm an old friend of your grandmother's. I was in the neighborhood." "Oh," he relaxed. "Nice to meet you. I'm late for work." He kissed my cheek and left. The front door clicked shut. His car started. Tessa waited until the sound faded. "You have 48 hours. I'll be at the Marriott downtown, room 412. Bring a cashier's check or bring nothing. But if you bring nothing, I'll be at his office Monday morning with every document. He'll hate you. He doesn't know me." She moved toward the door. "But he'll hate you for lying. For 20 years. You gave him up. You signed papers." I was 19 and terrified. She snapped, the first emotion breaking through. "My boyfriend was dead, my parents kicked me out, and you promised me he'd have a better life. I kept my promise. I never contacted him, never searched for him, never disrupted your happy family." Her hand was on the doorknob. "But I'm dying, and I'm not ready to die yet. So now I'm asking for what I'm owed." "You're not owed anything. Then tell Hayden the truth yourself. Right now. Call him. Tell him you've been lying since he learned to talk." She pulled out her phone. "Want me to dial?" My husband found me in the kitchen an hour later, still standing exactly where Tessa had left me. The folder sat on the counter. "What's wrong?" he asked. I looked at him, at our life, at everything we'd built on one massive lie. "She's back," I whispered, "and she wants money." His face went white. "How much?" "500,000. Or she tells him everything." He picked up the folder, read in silence. When he looked up, his jaw was set. "We can't pay this. We'd have to liquidate retirement funds, take out loans, remortgage the house." "I know, but if we don't pay, he'll find out. Everything." We sat in silence, weighing impossible choices. Outside, I heard Hayden's car pull into the driveway. He was singing, happy. He had no idea his entire world was about to explode. My husband's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. We both leaned in to read it. The message contained a photo. Tessa, much younger, holding a newborn. The hospital bracelet clearly visible. And underneath, just 3 words that made my stomach drop. "There's more proof." I stared at the screen until it went dark. My husband set down his phone. His hands were shaking. "We need a lawyer," he said finally. "A lawyer can't fix this. Maybe they can argue coercion, harassment." She signed away her rights. "With our encouragement." I grabbed the folder, flipped to the adoption papers, my handwriting on the witness line. We were so desperate for a baby. We pushed her to sign. She was going to give him up anyway. Her parents had already disowned her. Did they? Or did we just tell ourselves that? I closed my eyes. I remember her crying in that hospital room, asking if she could hold him one more time. I said no. I said it would make it harder. You were protecting her. I was protecting us. Footsteps in the hallway. Hayden poked his head into the kitchen. "Hey, forgot my laptop. Big presentation today." He grabbed it from the counter, right next to the folder. Didn't even glance at it. "You guys okay? You look weird." "Fine," I managed. "Good luck with your presentation." "Thanks." He kissed my cheek again. Gone again. My husband waited until the door closed. "We have to tell him." "Are you insane? Think about it. If we pay her, what's to stop her from coming back in 6 months? A year? She's dying. She has nothing to lose. But if we tell him ourselves, on our terms, we control the narrative. He'll never forgive us. Maybe not. But at least we're not letting her hold this over us forever." He pulled out his phone. "I'm calling him right now." I grabbed his wrist. "Wait. For what?" "I don't know. I just need to think." But there was nothing to think about. Every option led to the same place. Hayden finding out we'd lied. Our family shattered. 20 years of trust destroyed. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "Hello, Mrs. Palmer." A man's voice. Smooth, professional. "My name is Vincent Reeves. I'm calling on behalf of my client, Tessa Morrison. She hired a lawyer? I prefer to think of myself as a facilitator. I understand you're in a difficult position. My client simply wants to ensure the terms of your arrangement are clearly understood. There is no arrangement. Not yet. But there will be, because my client also retained a private investigator. We have documentation of every interaction you had with her in 2002, including the $5,000 cash payment you made before she signed the adoption papers." My stomach dropped. I'd forgotten about that money. We'd called it a gift. Help her get back on her feet. But it looked like exactly what it was. Payment for a baby. That's not legal. Probably not. But perception matters, doesn't it? Especially to someone like Hayden. Successful, Ethical. The kind of man who reports financial irregularities at his firm. How do you think he'd react to learning his entire existence began with an illegal payment? I couldn't breathe. The offer is simple, Vincent continued. $500,000, wired to an offshore account by Monday at noon. In exchange, my client will disappear. All documentation will be destroyed. You'll never hear from her again. And if we don't pay? Then Tuesday morning, Hayden receives a very interesting package. Photos, documents, a letter from his biological mother explaining everything, along with evidence of the illegal adoption. I imagine his wife would be particularly interested. She works for the state attorney's office, correct? He hung up. I told my husband everything. He sat down heavily. $5,000. I'd forgotten. It wasn't illegal. We were helping her, through unofficial channels, without proper documentation. We were so desperate we didn't think about the implications. What do we do? He looked at me, really looked at me. I think we pay her. That's extortion. It's survival. Our family's survival. He stood, paced the kitchen. We have about $300,000 in retirement accounts. We can pull it, take the penalty. Our house has equity. We can get a home equity line of credit for the rest. We'll lose everything we've worked for, or we'll lose our son. I wanted to argue, but I couldn't, because he was right. That afternoon, I sat in our financial advisor's office, signing papers, liquidating our future. The advisor kept asking if we were sure, if everything was okay. I lied and said we were investing in a business opportunity. He didn't believe me. I could see it in his eyes, but he processed the paperwork anyway. By Friday morning, we had the money. A cashier's check for $500,000, made out to Tessa Morrison. My husband wanted to deliver it together. I said no. This was my daughter. My mistake. My debt to pay. I drove to the Marriott, room 412, knocked. Tessa opened the door. She looked worse than before, thinner, grayer. The cancer was eating her alive. You came, she said. Did I have a choice? She stepped aside. The room was sparse. One small suitcase, a laptop, medical equipment on the dresser. This was a woman with nowhere else to go. I held out the check. She stared at it. Didn't take it immediately. I want you to know something, she said quietly. I didn't want to do this. I tried everything else first. Fundraisers, loans. I sold everything I owned, but it wasn't enough. And I'm dying. And I'm scared. You should have thought about being scared 23 years ago. I think about it every day. She took the check, folded it carefully. I think about what kind of man he became. If he's happy. If he ever wondered about me. He doesn't wonder. He thinks you're dead. I know. You made sure of that. She met my eyes. But I'm making sure of something too. I'm making sure he never has to know. Because despite everything, I do love him. I loved him enough to give him up. And I love him enough to disappear again. You could have just asked for help. Would you have given it? Without the leverage? She shook her head. You forget. I know you. I know what you're capable of when you want something badly enough. She walked to the window, looked out at the city. The money gets wired Monday morning, she said. Once it clears, I'll send you every copy of every document, every photo, everything. You'll watch me destroy it all over video call. How do I know you won't keep copies? You don't. But I'm dying. What good would it do me? She turned back to me. In 6 months, maybe less, I'll be gone. And your secret dies with me. I wanted to feel relieved, but all I felt was hollow. I hope it works, I heard myself say. The treatment. She smiled sadly. No, you don't. She was right. I didn't. I left without saying goodbye. But in the parking lot, I sat in my car for 20 minutes, staring at nothing, because I realized something. She was still my daughter. No matter what she'd done, no matter what I'd done, she was still my daughter. And she was dying. I called my husband. It's done, I said. Good. Come home. I can't. What do you mean? I mean I can't just give her money and walk away. She's dying. She's alone. My voice broke. She's still my little girl. Silence on the other end. Don't, he said finally. Don't do this. Don't get involved. We paid her. We're done. Are we? Can you live with yourself, knowing she's dying alone? Yes. Can you live with yourself if Hayden finds out you're in contact with her? I hung up. I went back inside, rode the elevator to the 4th floor, knocked on 412 again. Tessa opened the door, surprised. I need to know something, I said. Everything you told me, the cancer, the trial. Is it all true? Yes. I prove it. She let me in, showed me medical records, oncology reports, communications with the clinic in Germany, all of it real, all of it devastating. 6 months, I said. That's what they gave you? Maybe less. The tumor's aggressive. I've been coughing up blood for weeks. I sat down on the edge of the bed. Why didn't you tell me sooner, before it got this bad? Because I didn't want to need you. I didn't want to need anyone. She sat beside me. After I left the hospital, after I signed those papers, I promised myself I'd never be that vulnerable again. Never let myself need someone who could hurt me. Did I hurt you? You took my baby. You gave him to me. Because I had no other choice. You made sure of that. She stood, walked to the window again. You came to the hospital every day, brought baby clothes, talked about the nursery you'd decorated, made me feel like if I kept him, I'd be selfish. Taking him away from the perfect life you'd give him. That's not fair, isn't it? You were 43, desperate. You'd tried IVF 7 times. You saw a pregnant 19-year-old in crisis and you saw your chance. I saw a baby who needed a home. You saw what you wanted to see. We sat in silence. I should go, I said finally. Wait. Tessa pulled out a photo album. Old, worn. I kept these, even though I wasn't supposed to, even though it hurt to look at them. She opened it. Photos of her pregnancy, her belly growing, smiling at the camera, happy. This was before everything fell apart, she said. Before Connor died, before my parents found out, before I lost everything. She turned the page. Hospital photos. Her holding Hayden for the first time. The only time. I named him that, you know. Hayden. It was supposed to be our secret. Mine and Connor's, but you kept it. It suited him. Yeah, she closed the album. I want you to have this. I can't, please. When I'm gone, someone should remember that I loved him, even if he never knows. I took the album, held it like the precious thing it was. Thank you, I whispered. That night, I told my husband everything, showed him the album, the medical records, all of it. You're not actually thinking about helping her, he said. What if I am? Then you're risking everything, Hayden, our family, everything we paid to protect. I'm risking it either way. If I walk away and she dies, I'll never forgive myself. And eventually Hayden will find out. Someone always finds out. So what are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we tell him the truth. Not Tessa's version, not her lawyer's version, our version. And then we ask him to help her. You've lost your mind. Maybe. But I can't live like this anymore. Always waiting for the bomb to drop. Always looking over my shoulder. I want to sleep at night. I want to look my son in the eye without feeling like a fraud. He'll hate us. He might, but he'll hate us more if he finds out later, from someone else. My husband sat down, put his head in his hands. How do we even start that conversation? He asked. I don't know, but we have to try. We called Hayden the next morning, asked him to come over, told him it was important. He arrived an hour later, his wife beside him, their baby daughter asleep in a car seat. What's going on? He asked. You both look terrible. Sit down, I said. They sat. I looked at my husband. He nodded. There's something we need to tell you, I began. Something we should have told you a long time ago. Hayden's face went from confused to concerned. What is it? I took a breath. The woman you met yesterday, the one I said was an old friend, that was a lie. Her name is Tessa Morrison, and she's your biological mother. The room went completely silent. Hayden stared at me. What? Your mother didn't die in childbirth. We told you that because we thought it would be easier. But the truth is, she was 19 years old when she had you. Her boyfriend had just died. Her parents disowned her. She had nowhere to go. And I couldn't finish. You adopted me, Hayden said slowly. Yes. And you never told me. We thought it was better this way. His wife touched his arm. Hayden, he shook her off, stood up. 20 years. 20 years you let me believe my mother died. Let me grieve someone who wasn't even dead. His voice was rising. How could you do that? We were trying to protect you. Protect me? Or protect yourselves? He grabbed his keys. I can't be here right now. Hayden, wait. But he was already out the door. His wife grabbed the car seat, gave me one long look, and followed. My husband and I sat in the empty living room. That went well, he said bitterly. Give him time. Time for what? To forgive us for the unforgivable? I didn't have an answer. 3 days passed. Hayden wouldn't return our calls, wouldn't answer texts. On the 4th day, his wife called. He wants to meet her, she said. Tessa. He wants to know why she gave him up, why she came back now. Everything. I'll arrange it, I said. He also wants to know how much you paid her to go away. My stomach dropped. He knows about the money? He figured it out. He's not stupid. Woman shows up claiming to be his birth mother, then you two are liquidating retirement accounts. He put it together. It's not what he thinks, isn't it? She hung up. I called Tessa, explained what happened. You told him, she said. I didn't think you would. I didn't have a choice. Everyone has a choice. You made yours. A pause. Does he want to see me? Yes. Okay, when? Tomorrow, noon. There's a cafe downtown, 3 blocks from your hotel. I'll be there. Tessa. I won't tell him about the money, if that's what you're worried about. That's not— Yes, it is. But don't worry. I'll tell him I reached out to you, that you were kind enough to help fund my treatment. That's technically true. Why would you do that? Because despite everything, I don't want to ruin your relationship with him. He's had you for 20 years. You raised him. You loved him. That counts for something. I didn't know what to say. Besides, she added quietly, I'll be gone soon. You'll still be here. He'll need you. The next day, my husband and I sat in our car across from the cafe, watching through the window. Hayden arrived first, sat at a corner table, fidgeting, nervous. Then Tessa walked in. They stared at each other. She sat down, and we watched as our son met his mother for the first time in 20 years. They talked for 3 hours. We couldn't hear what they were saying, but we saw everything else. The tears, the laughter, the long silences. At one point, Tessa pulled out the photo album, showed him the pictures. He touched them carefully, like they might disintegrate. When they finally left the cafe, they hugged. A real hug. Long and tight. Hayden walked her back to the Marriott, disappeared inside. He's choosing her, my husband said quietly. I don't think it's about choosing, isn't it? We lied to him. She's the victim. Of course he's choosing her. But an hour later, Hayden called. Can I come over? He asked. Of course. He came alone this time, sat on the same couch where we'd told him the truth. She told me everything, he said. About Connor, about her parents, about how scared she was, and about how you helped her, paid for her treatment. I exchanged a glance with my husband. She needed help, I said carefully. She also told me she shouldn't have ambushed you, that she was desperate and made poor choices. She wanted me to tell you she's sorry. She said that? Yeah. He leaned back. I'm still angry about the lying, but I think I understand why you did it. You wanted me to have a simple story. Dead mother. Tragic, but simple. Instead of the messy truth. We should have told you, I said. When you were old enough to understand. Yeah, you should have. He looked at both of us. But I also know you love me, that you did your best, and that Tessa doesn't blame you for anything. She's a better person than I am, I said. I don't know about that. She told me she kept copies of everything. The adoption papers, the birth certificate, photos, said she was going to use them to force you to help her. That's pretty manipulative. My heart stopped. But she also said she destroyed them all this morning because she didn't want me to think badly of you. She destroyed them, burned everything in the hotel sink, sent me a video. He pulled out his phone, showed us documents curling into ash, photos consumed by flame, all of it gone. She said you deserved a clean slate, that you've been good parents, and that she's grateful I ended up with you. I couldn't breathe, couldn't speak. I'm going to help her, Hayden continued, with the treatment. I've got savings. My wife agrees. It's the right thing to do. Hayden, don't try to talk me out of it. She's my mother. I can't change that. and I can't just let her die without trying to help. We weren't going to stop you, my husband said. We're proud of you. Hayden stood. I need time to process all this, but I don't want to lose you either. You're my parents. That doesn't change. He left. My husband and I sat in silence. She protected us, I said finally. Even after everything, she protected us. I know. We have to do something. Like what? I don't know, but something. The next morning I went back to the Marriott. Room 412, Tessa answered. She looked exhausted. Can I come in? I asked. She stepped aside. I sat down. Thank you for what you told Hayden, for destroying the evidence. I told you, I don't want to ruin your family. Even after we ruined yours? She shook her head. You didn't ruin anything. My life was already ruined. You gave my baby a chance. That's not nothing. I want to come with you, I said, to Germany, for the treatment. She stared at me. What? You shouldn't go through this alone. I know we're not. I know things are complicated, but you're still my daughter, and you need someone. You don't have to. I know I don't have to, but I want to. I leaned forward. Let me do this. Please. She didn't answer right away, just looked at me with those tired eyes. Okay, she said finally. Okay. 2 weeks later, we flew to Germany. Tessa, me, and Hayden. The treatment was brutal. 4 weeks of intensive chemotherapy and immunotherapy. Experimental drugs with horrible side effects. Tessa lost more weight, lost the rest of her hair, spent days too sick to get out of bed, but she fought. And Hayden was there every day, holding her hand, reading to her, making her laugh when she felt strong enough to laugh. I watched them together, watched them build something that should have existed all along. I missed so much, Tessa said one night. We were alone in her hospital room. Hayden had gone back to the hotel to rest. First steps, first words, first day of school, everything. I know. Do you ever wonder what kind of mother I would have been if Connor hadn't died? If I'd kept him? Sometimes. I think about it all the time. Different versions of my life, different choices, different outcomes. She closed her eyes. But then I see him with you, how confident he is, how kind, how successful. And I know you gave him things I never could have. You would have figured it out, maybe. Or maybe I would have resented him for all the things I had to give up, for tying me to a life I wasn't ready for. She opened her eyes. I think I made the right choice, even if it was the hardest choice. 6 weeks later, the doctors ran new scans. We sat in the conference room. Tessa, Hayden, me, and 3 doctors speaking German accented English. The tumor has shrunk significantly, the lead doctor said. 47% reduction in size. The treatment is working. Tessa grabbed my hand, squeezed. How long? Hayden asked. If this continues, she could have years. Not decades, but years. Years is good, Tessa whispered. Years is enough. We flew back to the States 3 days later. Tessa came home with us. Not to stay, just to rest before she figured out what came next. She slept in the guest room, the room we'd prepared 23 years ago, the room that was supposed to be a nursery. This is weird, my husband said, watching her carry her suitcase upstairs. I know. Are we really doing this? Taking care of the woman who extorted us? She didn't extort us. She asked for help, badly, but she asked. And the lawyer? The threats? Fear makes people do desperate things. I turned to look at him, like lie to your child for 20 years. He didn't argue. Tessa stayed for 2 weeks, then found a small apartment across town, furnished it with donations and goodwill finds, started radiation therapy at the local cancer center. Hayden visited her twice a week, sometimes more. And slowly, carefully, we all learned how to be a family. Not a normal family, but what family is. 3 months after Germany, Tessa called. Can you come over? She asked. I need to talk to you. I drove to her apartment, found her sitting at her tiny kitchen table, papers spread out in front of her. What's this? I asked. My will, such as it is. I don't have much, but what I have, I want Hayden to get. The life insurance policy from my old job, about $50,000, some savings. Tessa, I'm not dying, not yet, but I'm also not naive. This remission won't last forever. She pushed a document toward me. I also wrote something, for him, for after. I want you to keep it. Give it to him when the time comes. I looked at the envelope, sealed, his name on the front. What does it say? Everything I should have said when he was born. Everything I would have said if I'd been braver, smarter, better. You were 19. I was a coward. I let my fear make my choices. And by the time I realized what I'd lost, it was too late to get it back. It's not too late now, isn't it? He's kind to me, but he calls you mom. He always will. I'm just Tessa, the woman who gave birth to him. Nothing more. That's not true. It's true enough. She stood, walked to the window. I'm grateful for the time I'm getting, for the chance to know him, but I'm not his mother. Not really. You are. I wanted to argue, but couldn't, because she was right. A year passed. Then 2. Tessa's cancer stayed in remission. Small miracle. She got a job, part-time at a bookstore. Nothing glamorous, but it made her happy. Hayden brought his daughter to visit her, let her babysit sometimes. Grandma Tessa, the baby called her. Tessa cried the first time she heard it. On Hayden's 23rd birthday, we had dinner at our house, all of us. Hayden and his wife, Tessa, my husband and me, 3 generations. I want to say something, Hayden said, standing, holding a glass of wine. 2 years ago, my world exploded. Everything I thought I knew turned out to be a lie, or at least, not the whole truth. We all went quiet. I was angry, confused, felt betrayed. But now, looking around this table, I realize something. I'm lucky. Most people get one set of parents. I got 2. One set who gave me life, one set who gave me a life worth living, and now I get both. He looked at me. Mom, Dad, thank you for everything, for loving me when I wasn't yours, for making me yours anyway. Then he looked at Tessa, and thank you for being brave enough to give me a chance. And brave enough to come back. I didn't give you anything, Tessa said quietly. I gave you away. You gave me to people who could love me the way I deserved. That's not nothing. She wiped her eyes. We finished dinner, ate cake, celebrated. But later, as people were leaving, Tessa pulled me aside. I need to tell you something, she said. What? The cancer's back. They found it last week. New scans. My heart dropped. Where? Everywhere. Liver, lungs, bones. She said it calmly, like she was reading a grocery list. They're saying 4 to 6 months this time. No more treatment options. Does Hayden know? Not yet. I'll tell him tomorrow, but I wanted to tell you first. She took my hand. I wanted to say thank you for the last 2 years, for letting me be part of his life, even though I had no right to ask. You had every right. No, but you gave it to me anyway. She squeezed my hand. I need another favor. One last one. Anything. When I'm gone, don't let him blame himself. Don't let him think he should have done more, could have saved me. Make sure he knows this was always going to happen, that the last 2 years were a gift, not something I was owed. I promise. And don't let him hate you for lying. Water under the bridge now. Ancient history. I'll try. She hugged me. Really hugged me. For the first time in 23 years. Thank, she whispered, for being a better mother to him than I ever could have been. You would have been amazing. We'll never know. But at least I got to see what he became. That's more than I deserved. 4 months later, Tessa went into hospice. Hayden sat with her every day, read to her, held her hand, told her stories about his childhood, things she'd missed. I learned to ride a bike when I was 7, he said. Crashed into Mrs. Patterson's fence, split my chin open, needed 12 stitches. Tessa smiled weakly. Bet your mom was terrified. She was. But she also made me get back on the bike the next day. Said I couldn't let fear win. Sounds like her. I got into a fight in middle school. This kid was bullying my friend. I punched him, got suspended. Dad grounded me. But mom said she was proud, that standing up for people matters more than following rules. She's right. I had my first heartbreak at 16. Thought my world was ending. Mom stayed up with me all night. Let me cry. Told me it gets better. She was right about that too. Tessa closed her eyes. I'm glad you had her. Me too. But I wish I'd had you too. From the beginning. You had the better deal. I don't think so. I think I missed out on knowing you. You know me now. It's not enough. 2 years isn't enough. No, but it's what we got. She died 3 days later. Quietly. Hayden holding one hand, me holding the other. The funeral was small. Hayden, his wife, my husband and me. A few people from the bookstore. The pastor who'd visited her in hospice. We buried her next to Connor. She'd arranged it somehow. Found his grave. Bought the plot beside him. Together at last. She'd written in her will, 23 years too late. But still. Afterward, Hayden gave me the envelope Tessa had left for him. Did you read it? I asked. Yeah. What did it say? That she loved me. That she was sorry. That she hoped I'd forgive her. He looked at me. She also wrote about you. About how grateful she was that you stepped up when she couldn't. How you gave me everything she wanted for me but couldn't provide. She was too hard on herself. Maybe. But she meant it. Every word. He put his arm around. I know this has been hard for you too. Having her back. Sharing me with her. It wasn't hard. It was right. Still, thank you for making room for her. For letting me have both of you. We stood there in the cemetery. Mother and son. Not by blood, but by choice. Which was always stronger anyway. That night, I found my husband in our bedroom, looking at old photos. You okay? I asked. I don't know. This whole thing, 2 years of having her back, and now she's gone again, feels surreal. I know. Do you think we did the right thing? Taking her in? Helping her? Yes. Even though it complicated everything? Especially because it complicated everything. I sat beside him. Life is complicated. Families are complicated. Love is complicated. But we figured it out. All of us. Together. She still extorted us. She asked for help. Badly. Desperately. But she asked. And you forgave her. I had to. She was my daughter. I paused. Not the daughter I raised, but still my daughter. And she was dying. What else could I do? He put his arm around me. You're a better person than me. No, I'm just a mother. And mothers do impossible things for their children, even when those children break their hearts. We sat in silence, looking at photos of Hayden, baby pictures, childhood, teenage years, adult, married, father, all the moments Tessa missed. All the moments we got instead. Do you think he'll be okay? My husband asked. Eventually. He's strong. We raised him that way. We did, didn't we? Yeah, we did. 3 months later, Hayden's wife had another baby. A boy this time. They named him Connor. After my biological father, Hayden explained. But also after the second chance we all got. To be a family. Even if it was complicated. Even if it was messy. Even if it was broken. It was beautiful, I said, holding my new grandson. Yeah, it was. And standing there in the hospital room, holding this tiny person who would never meet Tessa but would always carry part of her story, I realized something. We hadn't failed. Not me, not Tessa, not any of us. We'd just done what families do. We survived. We adapted. We loved each other, even when it was hard, especially when it was hard. That's what families are. Not perfect, not simple, not easy, just people trying their best, making mistakes, fixing what they can, living with what they can't. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, getting a second chance. Like we did, like Hayden did, like Tessa did, even if it was too brief. The check we wrote her, the money we paid, it wasn't extortion in the end. It was an investment in 2 more years, in forgiveness, in understanding, in the chance to be a family, even when everything said we shouldn't be. Was it worth it? Every penny, every sleepless night, every complicated moment. Yes. 1,000 times yes. Because in the end, Hayden didn't lose his mother. He gained another one. And then he got to say goodbye properly. That's not nothing, that's everything.